Today's guest is Stef Cola. Stef is the CEO of Ligantic, a platform which streamlines AI development by merging an intuitive interface with rigorous software engineering, which enables faster prototyping and reliable deployment. So, Stef, welcome to ROI from AI.
Thanks so much for having me.
My pleasure. That was quite a technical intro. So, in simple terms, can you explain what Ligantic is and what you guys do down there?
Ligantic is the essential AI platform, and we work with people on developing quick prototypes, but have a pathway all the way through to production. What we've found is sometimes when we work with people, they've worked and they've spun up these really delightful prototypes using vibe coding, and it's such a great way to get started, but they don't actually know how to scale that to meet the needs of their dreams. So we work with them along that whole journey.
Okay, so what type of people are you engaging with? Is it inventors, business owners? Because it's obviously that start to finish sort of workflow. What kind of people are you seeing come through the door?
We've got two real customer sets that we're working with right now. The first is our Getting Started or our Launchpad program. That's been a really great way for us to get startups or early stage innovators, early stage businesses to go through a training program. We teach them how to use AI, how to build their whole platform on the Ligantic platform, and how to think about how they're going to launch. It's more of an accelerator program there. Um, the second customer base that we're working with a lot is more on the back end, where we're an outsourced AI provider or capability for engineering teams. And so we help them with all of the complexities of running a AI platform.
Yeah, beautiful. And part of this interface with Ligantic is something called Flow Studio, which sounds very cool and experimental. Can you tell us a bit more about Flow Studio and what it does?
I can see you've done your research. Thank you.
Oh, just a little bit. AI assisted research.
I love it. The Flow Studio is this drag and drop visual editor, so you can build workflows or automations on the Ligantic platform. Um, you'll see a lot of these out in the industry right now because it's a great way to visualize a workflow. So you can drag, one capability in, you can sort of drag whether you want the connectors to go or where you want the data to flow to next. And we've got a little bit of a difference because we really like to make it super explicit in our workflow editor. So our flow designer is one of the capabilities in the Ligantic platform. It's where a lot of the magic happens.
Yeah, cool. I can imagine seeing the visual of the data would help a lot of people. I'm a creative, so I kind of need something visual to represent the work that I'm doing. And what I've been seeing is a lot of this automation. If people can see block by block where it flows into, it kind of makes AI feel a little less scary. Are you noticing that now that people can use Flow Studio and the wider work you do in Elegantic, that the adoption has been a bit more smooth?
Yeah, the adoption's always going to be hard when it's emerging tech like this, but we love working with creatives like yourself and taking it from what used to be locked behind code and putting it into that visual representation of what you're trying to build unlocks so much more creativity where you can kind of look at a flow that you've just built and go, oh, that's exactly it. Or actually, that's not how I imagined it going. And you can have this really fast iterative workflow. So it's definitely unlocking a lot more people to be able to build their own solutions.
Well, it's making AI accessible and democratizing this sort of technology. And I love that that this is one of your passions, as well as working with underrepresented groups in the AI and technology space. So women in the space, also those living in regional Australia like yourself. Why do you think it's important that AI is accessible?
It's so many things. So I've got a big background in design thinking, and one of the tenets of that is that to make a robust solution, you need to have a diverse set of people that come into the creation of it. And so if we're only building in rooms where everyone looks the same and thinks the same, we're going to put solutions out that don't meet people's needs, that don't that have bias against a whole subset of people. And we're missing out on a large capability set that is in within Australia and within the world, that if we unlock it, if we unlock women in technology, if we unlock the regional areas in technology, we're going to be in a much better position to innovate quickly to the needs of the world.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's good to think about the real world impacts of AI and bringing in these diverse groups is part of that. As the leader of Ligantic, are you thinking about social change and your impact on the world, the intersection of artificial intelligence and humanity? Are these things front of mind for your leadership?
It's something that forms part of our conversations every day, and it's something that also forms part of our go-to-market and how we wanna bisect some of our work. So we do have a For Good project that we've worked on for the last, 18 months in partnership, and it's where we've partnered with rare disease communities who have been traditionally underserved because they are underfunded. And so we're working with and partnering with some of these rare disease communities to build emerging tech solutions to their complex needs, which, 5, 10 years ago, we wouldn't have been able to roll out a solution like a digital assistant that helps their community get access to instant information. But now, because of the emerging technology, because of the leaps forward that we've got in AI, but also in the internet connectivity, all the other elements that make it possible, we're able to roll out these real world solutions that are impacting on people's everyday lives in ways and for costs that previously were just unthinkable.
I can imagine you've seen some personal journeys from people that have been resistant to AI or maybe just ignorant to AI and its use, and then seeing it really impact their lives. You're probably helping convince people that AI is something positive for us, like it's a perspective shift. Are you seeing that hands on, like these little like light bulb moments from people interacting with your work?
That's one of my favorite bits of my role here is that I get to see and sit with people as they go through oh, this can make a difference, a meaningful difference in my work life, in my personal life. Um, one of the one of the people that just went through our Getting Started program, or our most recent Getting Started program, is a nurse practitioner who is going out and venturing on her own. She's very, very excited around being able to make a meaningful difference and using tech to support that. And initially, we were just setting up her business so that she was, had a really good website, had a really good contact form, and helping her with all of the external facing things. And then when we started showing her what was possible within the platform, she actually started constructing a narrative creator that she sits with the kids that she's working with and helps them to create a story together. And that wouldn't have been possible without the emerging tech. It wouldn't be possible without, having a large language model that she can feed in some prompts in coordination with her clients, and they craft this story together. And she says it's fundamentally helping these kids to open up and talk with her around the mental health issues that they've got. And so, like, that's another real world one where uh, you know, our client has gone through, feels more empowered with this technology, and then is turning around, pivoting, and using this in in a client conversation that's enabling her to do more, connect more, and really help her clients.
Yeah. No, I love that. I always think AI comes from us. It comes from humans. So
Mhm.
instead of thinking it as something that's taking over, being able to utilize it to be more creative or more artistic or more fulfilling, I think it's just a slight perspective shift and a little bit of convincing. But once we see this real world impact, it's something we can harness instead of oppose. And the work that you're doing at Ligantic is super exciting. And I'm sure that where it is right now is a, a very established product. But do you have big ambitions to take it a little bit further? And if so, where do you see Ligantic developing?
100%. So the approach that we've taken over the last 18 months, 2 years that we've been developing our platform is really building out the breadth of the capability so that you can build those robust solutions on it. What that's meant is we've got a really mature, strong foundational platform. And our next phase that we're really excited to go on to, it's currently in R&D, and we're getting a lot of really exciting internal developments coming out of it, is what we're calling our Solace agent. And so what we've seen is a lot of vibe coding in the industry where people can have a natural language conversation, spin up a solution, and it's built on, traditional coding methods where they get an output out there, which is fantastic. It's lowered that barrier to entry, which is exactly what we want it to do. But what we're proposing is that by going down that breadth of the secure, scalable platform first, and in our R&D place where we're going next is overlaying that conversational prompt based creation, it's going to build out some really strong solutions that go beyond some of the issues that we're seeing with the vibe coded solutions coming out now. So, very excited around that as a future development.
Well, you're working on the tools, you're working on the ground in this space. So outside of Ligantic and that product, are there other AI technologies that's really exciting you at the moment?
Oh, I'm loving the emergent and the progression of all of the voice integrations.
Mm.
So the fact that you can like that's fundamentally changing the way that we work with technology now. It's going beyond sort of this text-based or this UI mouse clicking or touch screen. And I feel like it's the next evolution around what we're doing. And I'm loving seeing all of the products that are coming out that are just taking that new interface and running with it.
It's almost uncanny valley. A lot of this, the voice prompts or like the voice callers, the voice agents. We're seeing it for inbound, outbound. It can scale with a business, and there's that fear. There's an undercurrent of this is going to take our jobs and it's going to reduce workload. But I think if the jobs that are being taken are administrative and rudimentary and menial, then we'll be able to be more creative and do jobs that are a bit more personally fulfilling. So we're in this weird transition phase where there's still like a lack of adoption, a lot of barriers, a lot of traditional mindsets. But I think the future's looking super bright once we start to integrate with it a bit more. But I'm not an AI expert, that is you. So I'd love to know if you had to forecast and in a general AI sense, what do the next 5 to 10 years look like?
Oh, there are so many moving parts around forecasting, even months, let alone, a decade to half a decade in advance.
Yeah.
Uh, what I'm watching on the tech front are, some of the advancements around the changing models, some of the things that are going to be enabling technologies that's going to allow that. So what we're looking at is edge computing, so being able to run more of the computational power on edge devices or things that you can control, like your phone or maybe a Raspberry Pi or a computer that you've got running in your cupboard. So
Mm.
as well as some of the other advancements in computing power, those are going to be really enabling, I think, to advance what we've already seen be quite advanced and advance quickly. The other side of that around what you've talked about is the adoption, the change in how we approach this as an economy, as an enabling technology, how it changes the way that we interface with technology as a society. All of those things, I'm hoping it's going to open up a lot more conversations around, our ethics, our philosophy around what's right, what it makes a good life, what makes good work, and those sorts of things.
So with the robot uprising, you'll be team robot or
I,
team vegan.
I'm going to be team human, and I hope that we can have some because we, offset some of those more menial tasks, those administration tasks. I want to see that open up more conversations and more opportunities for us to connect as humans. I'm
Mm,
seeing a lot more engagement in our face-to-face events that we're running with the Bendigo Tech community, and I think that's as a result of the the years that we have experienced in isolation and where people have gone and they're wanting to connect deeper on a human level because they're seeing this push towards that in technology, and I'm excited about what that can mean for us over the next 5, 10 years as well.
I agree. I think, ironically enough, the more we automate and the more we rely on AI for productivity, the more human we can be. And
Mhm.
we can look to AI to enhance how we connect. And I think it's a beautiful thing. I love getting into the nuts and bolts of the philosophy around AI and how it does intersect with humanity. But I would be here forever if if it was a philosophical podcast, but we're a business podcast. So I'd love to know something that I ask all my guests is what would be your biggest tip for a return on investment using AI?
I often come back to this thinking about it being a design thinking challenge. And so rather than thinking, how can I apply this technology? I would instead go, what is the biggest problem or bottleneck that you're experiencing in your business right now? And then do a brainstorming because this emerging tech is now available and available quite extensively. How could you provide some unique solutions that weren't available 5, 10 years ago when you initially thought about this?
Mm, it's a self awareness. I think we've had that answer kind of spun a few ways where when you hit a roadblock, take note of that. When
Mhm.
you are bogged down with admin, take a note. When something's taking too long, take a note. And then look if you can optimize that. Kind of start in small scale, start granular, and then maybe think big picture. Because there's so many productivity tools out there that even just saving yourself 10 to 15 minutes, especially as a founder in the early stages of your business, 10 minutes could be another 3 phone calls where you make money, for example. So those tiny little slight tweaks could make big impact, I think.
I love looking for the slight tweaks, but I also love doing a whole life or calendar audit and identifying the things that that you could be doing more effectively, but maybe you shouldn't be doing them at all. Like let's opt for some cutting things out where it makes sense as well.
Yeah. So no, the 6-hour Netflix binges every night.
If that's what's giving you energy and enjoyment in life, keep those in.
True. Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna shame myself anymore. I need an AI version of myself to, watch Netflix for me while I work.
And just get the summaries of it. I think you should be flipping that around. So,
True, actually.
automate the work so you can get more Netflix binges in.
Well, this is why you're the expert. I'm so excited to see where Ligantic goes over the next 5 years. It's gonna be a really exciting developing space. I love that you work with creatives like myself. So, yeah, I'm just so thankful that you'd give your insights today.
Thanks so much for having me. We're excited for where we're going as well.
Fantastic.